Because we have a strong economy, because we that will reverse our economy. Yes. That will reverse our economy.
Hello, welcome to this edition of From the House of Representatives, a review of major activities at the Green Chamber of the National Assembly. I am Chukwuemeka Agowawike. The House has taken a decisive action through a bill seeking to compel the executive arm of government to establish a national renal center in Nigeria for research on cure, prevention, and management of kidney diseases in Nigeria. During debate on the bill, the lawmakers emphasized on the need for government to act quickly to tackle the menace posed by kidney disease to Nigerians.
The center is to initiate, implement programs geared towards supporting victims of renal failure. Estimates suggest that 1 out of every 7 Nigerians has one stage of chronic kidney disease.
A lot of people are suffering from that disease and they do not know where to go. It is expensive to even go for the identification either you have a renal disease or not to talk of the cure or other management of the disease.
Till we take care of the root cause, Mr. Speaker, our people will suffer from this and will be dying needlessly.
The House received requests from the acting president to wire over 135 billion naira to fund priority items which were not adequately provided for in the 2017 Appropriation Act.
The total amount of environment being proposed is 135 billion 643 million 18,749 naira. The ministries affected as follows. Federal Ministry of Power and Housing, amount to be divided within projects in the ministry, 46 billion 4,049,292 naira. Federal Ministry of Transportation, amount to be divided 66 billion. Sources of environment, Federal Ministry of Transportation, 33 billion 247 million naira. Federal Ministry of Power, Works and Housing, 3 billion 181 million 973,545 naira. Office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, 14 billion 130 million 719,780 naira. Office of the National Security Advisor, 5 billion. Federal Ministry of Science and Technology, 5 billion 9,244,926 naira. Federal Ministry of Trade and Investment, 5 billion 404,065,749 naira. Total is 66 billion. Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development, amount to be divided within project in the ministry is 1 billion. Federal Ministry of Interior, amount to be divided is 7 billion 698 million 811,674 naira. Sources of environment, Federal Ministry of Interior, 7 billion 698 million 811,674 naira. Federal Ministry of Trade and Investment, 80 million 500,000. Total is 7 billion 698 million 811,674 naira.
A motion calling on the relevant government agencies, the Central Bank of Nigeria and other banks, the insurance companies, and the National Insurance Commission to tell Nigerians the reason for the non-compliance with the National Housing Fund Act. The National Housing Fund Act ensures effective delivery of affordable housing for all Nigerians.
Equally find out what is the reason why with the 80 million workforce, we only have 4.8 million contributors. That such contributors cannot even fund themselves to acquire houses, talk less of giving it to ordinary Nigerians.
The National Housing Fund is very apt, Mr. Speaker. If only we can comply and implement the provisions in there, Mr. Speaker, Federal Mortgage Bank will have enough funds to provide for the downtrodden to build houses.
During the week, the House Committees on Maritime Safety and the Navy held a joint public hearing on the need for a maritime security fund and strengthening of maritime regulatory provisions and enforcement laws.
Gas. Together, these three industries contribute significantly to Nigeria's gross domestic product. We therefore have a shared responsibility to ensure our maritime environment is secure and safe enough to ensure sustained economic activities. Having just mentioned the significance of our maritime environment to our national economy, we must begin to consider the sustainability of these industries and how to maximize the economic benefits to our dear nation in the distant future. From the facts and reports available, it is evident that Nigeria is yet to maximize the potentials of our maritime environment for her national interests. For example, while the incidences of sea piracy is reduced in other territorial waters due to effective coordination, it is increasing in Nigeria and the Gulf of Guinea. This is apparently worrisome, given repeated warnings by the International Maritime Bureau that attacks by seaborne bandits of the West African coast are on the rise in Nigeria. To compound the problem, the United Nations Security Council reported that Nigeria was losing about $1.5 billion in a month due to piracy and other activities. It is also on record that Nigeria loses significant amount of income due to persistent oil theft. Reports and interactions with stakeholders in the maritime sector indicates that there are significant challenges to safeguarding our coastline of about 420 nautical miles, an exclusive economic zone of about 200 nautical miles. These challenges range from regulatory provisions, ineffective collaboration amongst stakeholders, and inadequate capacity for enforcement of protection laws. May I therefore state that this important bill was mainly proposed to stand on three pillars, namely coordination, regulation, and funding. The bill seeks to bring about effective security and coordination of all maritime operations in Nigeria's territorial waters and the exclusive economic zone. The bill also seeks to strengthen the legal structure for punishing all acts of piracy and waterway criminality, and finally establish a maritime security fund to enhance capacity to enforce protection laws of our maritime environments. In strengthening collaboration of stakeholders in the maritime domain, the proposed Maritime Operations Coordinating Board Amendment Bill aligns with the necessity and demands of present-day realities in maritime protection that seeks collaborative efforts. To this end, we are seeking alterations in this bill in sections 2 in such that the Chief of Naval Staff, who is constitutionally charged with securing Nigerian coastline, will be the chairman of the Maritime Operations Coordinating Board.
The bill seeks to ensure that Nigeria is better placed to maximize its maritime resources. That's where we end this week's edition of From the House of Representatives on Kakaaki, the African Voice. I am Chukwuemeka Agụawike.
Because we have a strong economy, because we that will rebase our economy. That will rebase our economy.